one, we're going to find the sum of the series from k equals 1 to 10 for 1 divided by a sub k. And this is when the sum of k equals 1 to n of a sub k is n divided by n plus 1. So basically, let's look at our sum. And we're going to look at two cases. So when we have our s sub n equals our sum from k equals 1 to n of a sub k, that equals n divided by n plus 1. So therefore, if we're going to look for a sub n, and we're going to look for case 1 when we have two or more terms. So when we have two or more terms, that's going to be the sum of all the terms minus the sum of all the terms except the last one. So basically, really quickly, if you have, let's see, you have these terms here. To get a sub n here, we can take the sum of all these terms, which would be this one, and subtract these terms. And when you do that, you'll just get a sub n left. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to let a sub n equal s sub n minus s sub, and I'm saying sub for subscript, s sub n minus 1. So substituting all this in, s sub n is n divided by n plus 1. Minus, now this one, you just substitute in n minus 1 everywhere there's an n. So that's going to give you n minus 1 divided by n plus 1 minus 1. So this is just going to be n here. Well, I'll just write it out. So this is going to be n plus 1 minus 1. All right, so basically, since this is 0, your common denominator is n times n plus 1. So you kind of do this butterfly method. So this is going to end up being n squared. You multiply those two. And when you multiply those two, you're going to get minus n minus 1 times n plus 1. All right, let's see what this is. This right here is just going to be minus n squared minus 1. And so the n squares cancel out, and we're going to get 1 divided by n times n plus 1. Now, we need to see what the first term is. So case 2. So for case 2, when n is 1, we get our sum of the first term is going to be using this 1 divided by 1 plus 1. That equals 1/2. We've got to make sure it works for this as well. So if it works for this one, and we get 1/2, so I'm going to substitute in 1. 1 divided by 1 times 1 plus 1. This equals 1/2. Therefore, since it works also for this term, by our first case and our second case, our a sub n equals 1 divided by n times n plus 1, and that's for n is greater than or equal to 1. All right, now that we have that, we can do the sum. So let's do that, and we're going to get the sum, and we're looking at this one now. The sum from k equals 1 to 10 of 1 divided by a sub k. All right, so this is going to equal the sum of k equals 1 to 10. And remember, our a sub n was 1 divided by n times n plus 1. So a sub k is going to equal 1 divided by k times k plus 1. So when you're doing 1 divided by a sub k, that's going to give you this k squared plus k. So you just flip these two around. And I went ahead and distribute here. So you're going to get k squared plus k. Now we're going to use these two formulas here and split this up. So to split it up, I'm going to split both of these up as the sum k equals 1 to 10 of k squared plus the sum from k equals 1 to 10 of k. All right, so for k squared, using this formula, our n is 10 for both of these. So for this one, we're going to get, start with 10 times, we're using n times n plus 1 times 2n plus 1, all divided by 6. So that's going to be 10 times 11 times 21, all divided by 6, plus, in the second formula, is n times n plus 1 divided by 2. So that's going to be 10 times 11 divided by 2. This gives us, equals, this one is going to be 385. This one is going to be 55. And so our sum is going to equal 440. And that's it. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.